now it's going to be 20 minutes.
Go.
Hi guys, my name's Tyler Nilsson. I'm an adult transition teacher for Santa Ana Unified. I've been teaching for 10 years. I was an instructional aide before that for about 8 years. So it's all been adult transition, and I've kind of created this presentation, this professional development for new teachers, new staff that come into adult transition that might not know what it is, because when I started, I had no idea what I was walking into, and it took me a while to really understand what we're doing here and the purpose of it and all the resources that are available to us as a staff and then for our students out in the community. So we'll go into, these are the topics we're going to cover over my presentation. All this knowledge, all these resources matter to our students, and they will impact them later in their lives, not just for adult transition, but beyond that. So my first question with you guys is, why do you guys think that community sources matter to our students in adult transition? Does anybody have any idea of why that matters? Yeah?
It gives them something to do after they leave the program?
Exactly. Too many times I've seen students not utilize resources. They leave the program and they have nothing to do. So giving them the array of resources gives them more things to do, more purpose in life for when they're done with us. Some of the resources that we utilize that we know of are Regional Center, Department of Rehab, Community College, adult transition programs and schools outside of our program, and then local nonprofits and services. And then as the presentation goes on, I'll get into those and more specifics on how we utilize them. Okay, any questions so far? We're good? Okay. Okay, so we already talked a little bit about this, but why do community resources matter? They bridge the gap between school and post-life, like what Hugo just said. Our students build beyond school. They have to have life after school. They're either going to be working part-time jobs, going to school, building on their community skills, living on their own, and they need those skills that we provide them and those resources for when they're done. And like it said, it also, with these resources, it empowers us as educators. So where we meet a student that needs something, we know, hey, that student, needs speech services, or that student could really utilize the community college. They really want to go work on their fitness. Well, let's show them, these fitness classes that they're out of community college, they can go do these things on their own. Or I've had a student that really wanted to get a certification to be an electrician. We had to go out and look at trade schools and get him a certificate to become an electrician, and he actually went to school and did that. We supported him through that, and he became an electrician, and now he's an apprentice to an electrician now that he's out of here. So all of these resources matter, and the more students you have, the more resources you need to accumulate, because every student is different and they are going to utilize these resources differently. Okay. Does anybody have an example of another student that maybe has used or utilized a community resource outside? Yeah?
I have a student that loves doing art, and he's taking an art class at a local nonprofit school.
Outside of school.
Right.
Perfect example. And that's something that they can continue doing beyond adult transition. Once they turn 22, they can go do those things outside of our program. That's what we're looking for, lifelong enriching resources for our students. Okay? So the first one resource that we all utilize for most of our students is the Regional Center of Orange County. So this is a nonprofit organization that provides students, actually people, adults, children, with services in the home, at school. If they qualify with their disability, they can get these services for lifelong. This is very, very important for our students that do qualify, that they utilize Regional Center. because once they qualify for life. So it's very important when we get a brand new student and they don't have regional center, we want them to get signed up. It takes a long time, and they're utilizing regional center. With this slide that I've provided, I'll share it with you guys. There's a link here that is has the eligibility criteria on there, and it has the intake services link to show you guys. You can go interact through that, and you can learn how the students enroll and which students qualify and which don't. Most of our students do, but students that have speech and language services as their primary disability or specific learning disability actually do not qualify. And those students have to utilize other community resources. Many times our students have autism as their primary, and those students will qualify. So it's all very specific, and it's all on a case-by-case situation to get enrolled into regional center. But they have so many additional community resources outside of what we can access. So this is a very important one for our guys. Okay, any questions about regional center? No, you guys are pretty familiar with it, yeah. Okay, the next one is DOR, Department of Rehab. Do you guys know what Department of Rehab does and the difference kind of between Department of Rehab and regional center? No? So Department of Rehab is more of a short-term service. And anybody with a disability can qualify. So this is more of a service for our kiddos that are speech and language, specific learning disability. This is more for them, and this is more on job placement, helps students. It gives those students maybe a job coach or helps them go to school to develop a skill. But once those students have gone through and gotten their job skills, Department of Rehab will pull back, and they'll say, okay, now you're off on your own. So they usually do job placement skills, college support, or employment support. And the link I provided here has more information on it. That's going to be on this presentation given to you guys. And this one, once the student signs up, they're going to have to pick, okay, am I going to do a job skill or a college skill? And if a student just goes to college, they'll help with that, and then they have to reapply again to get employment skills afterwards. But this is always available, but the student needs to initiate. It's not something that Department of Rehab goes out and contacts them. They have to initiate and maintain that relationship. Okay, but it can be very useful. We're actually utilizing Department of Rehab right now. In our program, they have a grant with us where they allow us to pay our students to develop job skills. So many of our students right now in adult transition are going out and working on their own with the support of DOR, and they're actually getting paid. So that's pretty cool, and it helps empower our students once they get their first job and get a paycheck. We see a big transformation on our students when they get that first paycheck. Okay? Does anybody have any examples of students going to their first job and getting and kind of changing after that? I have a good example if you guys don't.
Let's hear it.
Okay, I had this one student, let's call him Julio, okay? And Julio came to us and was a big problem for a long time. He didn't have really good behavior, didn't have good hygiene skills, really didn't have much of an outlook, didn't have a good supportive home life. We hooked him up with the Department of Rehabilitation, got him some job skills, helped him develop some self-confidence, and once he got his first paycheck, this transformation of this student, he changed, his behavior changed, he saw some value in his own life. Hey, I'm working on making money, and he was one of our biggest turnarounds for our classroom. He was a really good success story using Department of Rehabilitation. Okay? Community colleges. This is another resource that we utilize. This one is more for our students independently to go to do these classes. A couple examples of ones that we utilize is Santa Ana College and Santiago College. They're sister schools. each of them have different focuses. Santa Ana Colleges is more vocational based. There's like a mechanic shop, and there's other career pathways with Santa Ana College. Santiago College is more for getting those classes and going on to a university. They're available to our students. Some of them utilize them. I have a student right now going to Santa Ana College, going to an art class on his own. I've had students take other classes, math classes, fitness classes on their own. These ones we cannot go with our students because it's through the Santa Ana College system. So once a student signs up, they are on their own. And we can support them outside of the classroom. I added a link here. This is called Disabled Students Program Services, or DSPS. This takes the student's IEP, and they don't have all the services that we have in our K through 12 school, but there are some services that our students qualify for through DSPS. Some of them is like quiet space to take a test, extended time for test taking.
They have people that take notes for them also.
Note takers. If a student is deaf, they can provide an interpreter. If a student is blind, they'll have Braille services. So it just depends on the student's disability, what they can provide. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. I don't need to go into it unless you want me to. That was 10?
Yeah.
Easily 10?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
You should do the presentation at the beginning of the year.